What's going on, YouTube? This is What Would Josh Do, and this is a super exciting video. So actually, we have two videos here, and this video is going to be on one of these two things. I'll have a link in the description, or I'll pin a comment, or I'll do both of the other one when I do that one. So I don't even know which one I'm going to do first. I'm just going to pick one. Any, meeny, miny, mo, catch it. Anyways, I'm going to just pick one, and then you'll see the other video for the other one. Alrighty. So you already know. The other video was on the 200. This one's the 300. So this one's the one I'm more excited about. Let's get into it. This one's going to have a bigger battery, and it's going to have a DC carport. So the front of the box is going to have a picture of the 300 here. So you've got that DC port. You got the solar, which is a huge upgrade over... This is not a comparison video, but just to show you, this is the 200, and there's no solar input on it. You have to use power delivery to charge this thing. On this one, you can use power delivery, and you can use solar. And I'm already noticing that both ports are 140 watts, but on this one, one's 140, one's 100. So let's freaking check out the rest of this. You got some warnings here. Got some more information here. And then this side, we have the SKU, so we have like the UPC and the model and all that good stuff. And this is the Trail 300. Here we have some good information such as safety listings and stuff like that. This side shows the EcoFlow Trail 300 DC portable power station, 288 watt hours, so bigger battery than the other one, obviously. And now let's open this up. Okay, let's also address the elephant in the room. The 200 and the 300 do not have apps, so no firmware updates. Firmware updates are awesome. Firmware updates fix bugs, add features, new charging protocols. It's better to be able to update firmware. This one, no app support, can't update firmware, nothing like that. And not only that, but remote monitoring. I'm in one room and this is in the other. Or this is in the trunk of my car powering something and I want to know what it's doing. I have to look back there. There is a plus version of this that is coming out later. But if you look at EcoFlow's own product listing, it is actually a downgrade from this version. Sure, it adds an app so you can remotely monitor things. You can possibly update firmware, all that good stuff. It has a light, which is a big advantage because the 200 does not have a light and the 300 doesn't have a light, but it uses NCM, which is a downgrade. NCM, after 300 to 500 charges, you severely downgrade the battery. With this unit in the 200, it uses LiFePO4. So you can actually charge this thing thousands of times, like a few thousand times, then you downgrade the battery. And it's a much safer battery. NCM is much more dangerous than LiFePO4. So just wanted to get that out of the way. I'm not going to get the plus version. I say that, but I might get it just to make a video. But yeah, it's actually a downgrade. So I mean, in app support, it's great. It's awesome. Is it mandatory? Do you have to have it? Some people don't like signing up for an account and using an app in the first place, so they don't. And I don't use the app every single time I turn on the unit, every time I interact with it. You know, it's just it's a nice thing to have. A light is a very nice thing to have during a power outage. You can get a USB light and plug it into the front of it, you know, whatever. But none of those things are absolutely like a no-go. But NCM versus LiFePO4, like that's absolutely massive. Watch them freaking come out with a 300 plus Ultra or Max or a 300 Ultra that has the light and has the app, but uses LiFePO4. So taking a look at it, it's a little bit heavier than the other one, obviously. Bigger battery, more stuff's going on. You got ventilation, carry handle. It's flat, which is pretty cool because then you can stack like this unit on top of it because it's flat. It's nice. On the back, we have some ventilation here for airflow and to keep it cool. Then we have more ventilation and then more ventilation. So then let's just take a look at the information on the bottom here because that's pretty important. So you have the model number, you have what all the inputs and outputs can do, your serial number, all the good information's down here at the bottom of the unit. Okay, so what we're going to do is just connect some cables here. So each of these can do 140 watts maximum. And I'm going to plug only one in for now to see what all happens. Okay, so we're at a 29% charge, just like the other one. And while that's doing its thing, just a very quick side by side of both units here. And so this one's a little bit longer. It's about the same exact in width, but it's a little bit further back. Let's go ahead and show all of that. So, and it's the same exact height. So it does weigh significantly more. Like this one's super light. Like I can probably do this all day long. This one would definitely wear down on my arm after a short fit. That is a lot heavier. So taking a look at it, we've got that 100 watt input. So you can connect a solar panel that's up to 30 volts. That's the most important thing to keep track of. You cannot exceed 30 volts no matter what. You will fry this thing and it will not work anymore if you try to connect more than 30 volts. Don't do it. You got two USB-A for, slow charging some old things, some legacy devices. You've got 140 watts, two different ports there. We have a quick start guide, which oddly enough, the other quick start guide from the 200 also has the 300 on here. So we'll just go ahead and show that instead of opening the new one. So there you go. There's a quick start guide. This is great for people like me who, So we've got a button here to turn on the DC port, and it indicates there that the DC is being turned on. And then we have the screen. So basically you press this button, turns the screen off, press it again, turns it on. If you double press it, you're going to see a little icon pop up down here. That's for low power. So say you connect your Samsung phone that can charge at 45 watts. It's going to charge your phone at its full speed until it's full. When it detects that it's charging at like 1 watt, it's going to say, hey, it's done, and stop. Now, if you have low power on, it's going to keep going. And that's important because some things, like say your Bluetooth earbuds, your Bluetooth game controller, some of those things only charge at 1 or 2 watts, like their entire charge time. And you don't want this to think, oh, it needs to turn off the charging. So that's what that's for. And if you double press it, it'll turn it off. So there you go. There's low power mode. So we're charging at 131 watts. It's going to be 1 hour. Now, unfortunately, since there's no other things here, you can't see exactly how long. You don't know if it's an hour and a half. You don't know if it's an hour and 1 minute. Basically, you just got to wait for it to get below an hour to update to minutes for 59 or less. Now, what if we connect the other port here? Let's see. So we'll connect that and we'll see what happens. So that's awesome. One of them is charging at 140 watts. One of them is charging at, let's just go ahead and show you. So one's going at 135 and one's going at 100. So we're getting 230 watts. Now this thing can only do 250. It can't do 140 plus 140. So let's get a different charger. All right, connecting a second 140 watt input here. Yep. That's fast. That is freaking fast. So this guy's doing 132. So 133. So then the other one's doing 130. That's just freaking awesome. That is freaking awesome. And now, see, now it's showing 45 minutes. It's under an hour. So that's a freaking fast charge, man. That's freaking great. So if we take a look at the cables, this is a 140 watt charger. It's showing 130 on the cable, and this one's showing 140 on the cable. All right, I'm gonna let this thing charge up. All right, with the C200, we saw that it could do 100 on each of these. This one's capable of doing 140 watts. This one's capable of doing 100. On the C200, it just pulls 100 from each. With this one, since we have two 140 watt ports, and it can charge at a much higher speed, we're actually getting 138 on one of them and 96 on the other. So this EcoFlow Trail 300 is actually charging at 230 watts versus the EcoFlow Trail 200 charging at 190 watts with these two chargers here. You could always get two of these 140 watt ones to then go at the full speed of 280 watts, but I only have one 140. I made a video on these things. They're pretty cool. You can like lower the brightness, turn the screen off, turn it on, and then same thing with this one, which oddly enough, that brightness was more in line now with the other one. And then you can also rotate the screen to wherever you're viewing it. I made a video on these. Just search Charge and What Would Josh Do, or I'll try to remember to put a link in the description below. I actually just need to get a second one of these so they match. All right, this is going to be a quick clip of the solar capabilities of the 300 here. So this solar panel is not EcoFlow. I do have EcoFlow's 110 watt and 220 watt panels, but both of those take a lot more time to set up. And I kind of want to be out here for the shortest time as possible. So this panel is well within the 30 volts. So you want this peak circuit voltage, the open current voltage, to be under 30 or less. And this one is 24.5. So we're within specs. And we should be able to easily provide the full solar to this guy. Let's go ahead and set this up. All right, super duper simple to set up. Just pull the two legs out, set it up, and we're gonna plug in the solar, and we're gonna see what we see, like what happens. So this is a 200 watt panel, meaning it will need less sun to reach the maximum solar input of this guy right here. If you get a 110 watt panel, it's gonna need to be in perfect conditions in order to get even close to 100 watts. But with this panel being 200 watts, it's clearly doing 112 watts, and we are not in ideal conditions at all for solar. So that's the nice thing about having like an over panel situation like we do here. So can you even see that? Oh yeah, 110 watts. So it's gonna take 1 hour to charge. So there you go. This is I think a cheap 200 watt panel. I'm not quite sure exactly how much it cost. This was sent to me for free to make a video on a long time ago, like a year maybe. And yeah, so easily 100 or more watts with just a little bit of sun. Like we just have a little bit of sun here. 111 watts, that's freaking awesome. Just don't go over the 30 volts. This was 24.5, so it's fine. Don't go over 30 volts. All right, I have to disclose that it did charge at 270 for quite a while, but it did not go forever. So as you can see, we're getting 138 watts, but when we connect the second input here, I don't know if it waits till it gets to a higher percentage and then it stops, because look, now this one's at only 1 watt, and I've tried all different types of chargers and things, and it just doesn't want to do 2 right now. So we are only inputting at 140 watts, and we have 2 things connected. This one is this 140 watt charger right here. If we disconnect that, it's going to then switch to this one right here. So again, I don't know if it's a percentage thing, like once the battery gets to a certain point, or maybe the temperature, the unit is not even warm to the touch at all. I mean, 130 isn't bad. It would just be nice to see it charge all the way with both. Again, this is just the unboxing and first test, so I can always add a new comment or update description, pin something with updates. But as of right now, once it gets to a certain percentage or temperature or something, it only allows for 1 input. All right, so it's been a little bit of time. Both are still connected, but we're still only getting the 1 input. Now I'm gonna record this temperature gun, and you're gonna be able to see that it's not hot. Just where the cable port is, that's reading the 146 maximum, but the rest of the unit is like 90 degrees. Now the charging brick, that's much hotter. That's 142 at its hottest. So not very hot. Alrighty, let's finish up the rest of this video on this 300 version here. This one is much heavier, it is more expensive, but you gain the DC output. With that being said, it does say that it's 12 volts, 10 amps. So someone told me that they were able to run a 300 watt inverter on that carport there. The manual clearly says 12 volts, 10 amps for the 300 version. I don't have a way to test that to see if that's true for the 300 watts, but that's what I've been told by somebody else who supposedly tested it and said that. Now, can you combine solar input with PD input? I am going to test that with this other power station here by connecting this and then connecting this. This is going to emulate solar, or we're in our car and we want our car to charge this thing up. Oh, buddy. Look at that data there. Now, we did see earlier that it disabled the dual charging because the battery percentage was so high. And now we have a new icon there showing solar being put in. All right, yeah, so 100 watts going out, 100 watts going in. And it looks like we can possibly combine the inputs, just like we did the 2 inputs for power delivery, but one of those being solar or your car, and the other one being like a power brick. But since this unit is so high and it already disabled the dual PD input anyway, because of how high the battery is, then it Would be better to test this if the battery was lower, but it does look like you can combine these two together if the battery was lower. Okay, so after some further testing, it does combine the two, but I connected a second port and it's charging 231 watts and it's not using this at all. It just switched over to PD. So if I connect this and I disconnect one of the PD inputs, it's going to switch over to using the carport here, and it's going to charge the power station. We're getting 109 watts using the carport to the XT60 input, and then we're using the input here from this guy, and it's doing 140 from the little charger here. So we're charging at 250 watts almost using the carport DC to XT60 and then PD input. So pretty awesome. 120 watts, 136 watts for a total of 245. So let's test. All right, so we're able to do 100 watts going to our RGLIX, says over 2 hours. And thanks to this Anchor 2-in-1 cable here, it's going to basically force the power to go from here to here. So normally, if this port and this port are both input and output, it's going to fight which one does what. But we can actually control that with this cable, and we can have this be the output and this be the input. And yeah, look at that. So we got 200 watts almost going out. This one's receiving 80 because the battery's almost full on it. Okay, so in our infinite testing, now let's connect this carport here. All right, so our refrigerator is almost dead. We're going to connect the DC here, turn it on. And remember, we still have the two outputs, 100 watts, 100 watts. That's what each one of these can do. And look at that. So look at that. Yeah, that's freaking awesome. 230 watts of output right now. It's going to last for a full hour at 84%. So if the battery was, 100%, it would last over an hour. That's crazy. So it's powering the let's set the temperature back to that. And so now it's going to be able to put in more battery. So this refrigerator basically, when the compressor's running, it uses some of that 100 watts to power the compressor, and then it gives the rest to the battery. And now since the temperature is 22 Fahrenheit and we have it set to 35, the compressor's not on, it's giving that battery 100 watts or almost that. So that's freaking sick that it's doing 230 watts. Now, what does that mean for everything else? So the RGLIX did slow down to 41 instead of 100, and we lost 30 watt turbo mode. And this guy is charging at 80 watts. So let's just disconnect this guy. Ooh, it didn't interrupt the carport. Look at that straight graph there. So it renegotiated the power delivery, the Type-C, but it did not interrupt the 87 watts of input going to the fridge battery using the carport. So this carport's drawing 100 watts right now. And yeah, and that matches. So this says 90 watts. This says 200 altogether. And we got our 30 watt turbo mode back. So we're able to charge this thing at its full speed, and we're able to power our fridge at 100 watts. That's super exciting, dude. That is friggin' awesome. All right, now I want to test the port and see what all it can do. Okay, interesting enough, it didn't show up all the UFCS stuff. Let's go ahead and do that again. All right, so that's an interesting thing that it doesn't have all the protocols that the other one has, or at least it's not showing them. But we can see that we have 140 watts. So we also have PPS from 5 volts to 21 volts at 5 amps. So that's going to be super fast charging 2.0. Now, what if we connect two chargers? Two testers, I mean. I'm literally going to run out of storage. These videos have been so long. Let's do this. Let's do this real quick. Oh, that's weird. The other port is showing the UFCS on this one. It's just a newer charging protocol, which is pretty exciting. Okay, so all the protocols are showing up on, what is this one? This one is the top port. The right one is the top port. So that's exciting. We get 140. Whoa! Yeah, both of these are 140 watts. So that's 280 watts of output. So this is completely separate. You take both of these and add them together and you get your maximum. That's exciting. On the 200, we saw that we could do 140 on one. And if we combine both of them, it showed 100, 100. That was on the lesser version, the 200. This one can do 280 just fine. All right, that about wraps up this video. So we have the fridge charging at 105 watts right now, and then we have the input at 131, and eventually the fridge battery will be full and it won't draw any more power, and this one will be charged by then anyway, so we'll have a full fridge battery and we'll have a full battery in here because we're inputting more than we're outputting. This little guy is pretty freaking awesome. Super freaking cool. It runs super cool. I mean, I had it charging at its full speed, 270 watts, until it no longer allowed both inputs, and it switched to one input at 136, 100 or 140, whatever you want to call it, and it kept doing that, and it just kept going, and it's just slightly warm to the touch. We saw that on the temperature gun, it was reading, just 100 degrees, and that's Fahrenheit. That's not hot at all. And this room right now is super warm because these bright lights have been going on for over an hour now. This video is going to take so long to put together. It took so long to film. It's going to take so long to edit. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you leave a rating, it'll honestly help the channel more than you possibly imagine. It'll push this video on more people's recommendations, and they'll be able to decide whether this unit is for them or not. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you're new here. This is what would Josh do, and I'm out.